The clear out has been officially confirmed by Nottingham Forest, but who has gone and who is staying? Let's find out. Welcome to your latest Forest news. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are, whatever time of day you're watching this. Hope you're having a fantastic day, and welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest news. In today's video, we are going to be talking through the players that have been officially confirmed as leaving Nottingham Forest, as the club have announced their retain and non-retain list, I guess. And we'll be talking about someone in particular who really is stealing a living to the stage where you almost have to admire it. Before we get into all of that, as always, take a second just to hit that like button, subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new here, and don't forget to go check out our merch store where we've got our summer line coming on. Go check out those, the links in the description. Let's jump into this and let's talk about these players. Okay, there's quite a lot to get through, so really we'll stick on the main headline stories. And there have been 6 players that have been released. Well, there's many more, but 6 headline players. And those ones, let me shout them out to you, are Iain Hume, Cafu, Jack Colback, Jessie Lingard, Jordan Smith, thanks again for Ipswich, and Lyle Taylor. Out of those ones that are there are a few that Forest were trying to get rid of last window in the summer. However, it never came about. I talk about the likes of Lyle Taylor, for example, and Cafu, who didn't make the squad at all this season, but have now come to an end. Look, do they hold special places in my heart and your heart? I mean, let me know down in the comments below. Lyle Taylor for those 2 late goals last season, fantastic. And Cafu, I just think he's a good influence around the dressing room, never really been a disruptor, and I'll be sad to see him go, but times move on. The ones I do want to talk about from those 6 are Jessie Lingard, and let's start there. Jessie Lingard, I've been against him since about 2 weeks or so into his signing. And I think there were a few who wanted to give him a chance. I know Sean is a massive fan. He's probably in tears today or while watching this video. Hi, mate. Sorry about Lingard. But let's be real and let's be pragmatic about it. Lingard has not performed at Forest. There are talks that he's made millions upon millions from his time at Forest. And what do we have to show for it? 1 goal against Spurs in the Cup and a double deflected free kick against Blackburn, if I remember rightly, and half an assist in the Premier League for Owoni against West Ham. Is that a good return on investment? On the pitch, you would have to say 1,000,000% no. He's been a complete flop. Yes, he's been plagued by injuries. Yes, it's been on and off the times he's had to get into the game. But go back to the start of the season and he was quite the mainstay in Cooper's plans. However, I will still go back and say it was influential in terms of his signing at the start of the summer because it did put the camera lights on Nottingham Forest. I've said this many times before, and the world was watching our transfer window, and that kind of publicity is good for Forest. And he's been a great cheerleader on those benches. All he needed was a pair of pom-poms and that would have just finished him off and it would have been perfect. But bloody hell, was he an expensive cheerleader. Look, there's all the jokes about the TikTok videos and everything else. I don't really care about those. That's his prerogative to do. I mean, he's not going to be playing on the pitch 24/7. So his off time, he can do with it as he pleases. But for me, judging him on the pitch, and yes, I did judge him very early on because he looked like a washed up player. I don't think he's been a success on the pitch. But what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Let's move on to Iain. And Iain, for me, has been a bit of a pointless signing. I wouldn't call him a disaster. I wouldn't call him great. I'd just say pointless would be the word that springs to mind. What word springs to mind when you guys think about Iain this season? The highlights for me really were his miss of the penalty against Tottenham in the Premier League. Outside of that, he did win a lot of headers for a guy who's not the tallest in the world. But honestly, it just felt like a signing that was one of those nostalgia ones, maybe for Cooper, I don't know, because he's worked with him before at Swansea. But what did he bring to the team? That's the question I would pose. And my answer to that is not much. Would we have missed him if he wasn't on the pitch? Not really. And did he do anything, behind the scenes in the dressing room? Was he sharing his experience with the younger players? Again, that's something we don't know. Maybe I'm giving him an olive branch here, but I just see it as one of those, it reminds me a lot of when you're in Tesco's or whatever and you come to the checkout, and on the checkout, that little bargain bin at the side, they've reduced a pack of Skittles or something, and you pick it up and think, yeah, I could munch on this on the way home. And that's really Ayew for me, just a reduced pack of Skittles that you just have a quick snack on and move on and forget about. And I think we do have to move on from him. But it is what it is, and he is now gone. Get your thoughts on him in the comments down below. Let's talk about Jack Colback, and Jack Colback was really good for us last season. The fact that he played out of position for the majority of it and did a great job, and of course, his goal against West Brom. Whether he meant it or not, I think he did, was one of the greatest goals we've seen for a while at the City Ground. However, I said at the start of the season, Jack Colback was not Premier League level. And to me, I still think that position is justified. He only played a handful of games. He was injured as well. Let's not forget that. But overall, I think the pace of the Premier League was going to be too much for him. And that is justified by the fact that he has been released. He's clearly not in the future plans. And I do agree with that personally. I know there are a lot of Colback fans out there. And if you are one of those, would you have kept him on for another year or two? For me, had he not been released, I don't think it would have been the end of the world. I think he's quite a professional. He goes about his business, doesn't complain about the job he's asked to do. The evidence of that, as I mentioned, was from last year. And when he's asked to come into the team, to be honest, I think his last few performances for Forest were some of his better ones this season, where he'll come in, no questions asked, and do a job. But would I have kept him personally? Absolutely not. For me, the pace of the Premier League is way, way past him. I still think he has a role to play at a decent Championship squad, and that should be the move he's looking to do going forward. So for me, I wish him all the best of luck, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He wasn't for me this season, and the club seem to have agreed with my position on that. But more importantly, what do you guys think on Colback? Let me know in the comments down below. And then Jordan Smith, I guess all we need to say about him is thank you for Ipswich. What a save that was. 20 years at the club, and now he gets to move on. But let's move on and talk about the big one, which is Harry Arter. It is getting to the stage with Harry Arter that as much as I'm disappointed with the way things have been done with it, you almost have to admire it from his perspective. Let me remind you again, as I have many times before, he's on 30k, there or thereabouts a week. And because Forest retained Premier League status, his contract has been continued for a further year. And there must be, let me know, I'd love to know, is there a tiny bit of you that kind of admires what he's done from a personal perspective? He's cashed in nicely. But from a club perspective, he's absolutely taken the mick. And looking at it from a fan perspective, for me, he's stealing a living from us. That's another salary of a decent player at 30k. And it's just shocking that this keeps on going. It feels like the contract that has that 8 by on its side, the infinite symbol. That's what Harry Arter feels, because God only knows come the end of next season if we're going to hear a story about another extension on his contract because Felipe cut off his man bun or something, some weird clause like that. But with Harry Arter, he's still going to be around. Is he going to be anywhere near the team? Absolutely not. For me, I would just make sure he's playing in as many under 23 matches or whatever. Not that he can, maybe he can, I don't know. But is this something that forces him into actually trying to earn some of that money? But I'm sure you guys are going to let me know how you feel about Arter in the comments down below. However, there is some really, really good news out of all of this. And as we told you guys a few days, it might have been a week ago, about Serge Aurier and his wantingness to stay at Nottingham Forest. His contract has now been signed and extended for a further year. And I think this is a fantastic signing. He's had an outstanding season, in my opinion. Not only has he been good on the pitch, but he comes with leadership traits. And I love how he's integrated into the team very, very quickly. Again, both on and off the pitch. So I'm very happy by this signing. The Serge Aurier, the walking red card we were all told about from Spurs fans, hasn't materialised, and long may it remain that way. But I think this is a fantastic deal. And remember, he was one of the last in fact, the last in through the door in the summer window. Because he was a free agent, he was able to sign after it had closed. So, what a signing that is, and hopefully there are a few more to come, as there are rumours, and we will update you hopefully tomorrow, on Dean Henderson and a bid being put in for his services next year with Nottingham Forest. And the whole Lodi saga continues. If you haven't seen it already, go check the video out from earlier on today as we give you a quick update on Lodi. But that brings you up to date with your Nottingham Forest news for today. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new, and go check out our exclusive interview with the Forest local legends that were Viv Anderson, Gary Birtles and Tony Woodcock. And what they have to say, you could just sit there mesmerised looking at those old legends. Absolute honour to be in the same room with them. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video. And as always, come on you Reds.